Hi everyone, welcome to the first session of the Feel Good seminar or webinar. We are going to go through a few things before starting, just like to make sure that everything goes right. I hope that you had a chance to download and print the workbook, because this is what you need to have with you to do certain things. If you have not already did do so, please just pause this video and go to the same page where this video is and download the workbook, so that you can have some place to put notes and like read things, or put your own haha moments, your little ideas, thoughts, anything. So you print the workbook and first. Then after that, what is very nice, like just review the topic real fast with that workbook to make sure that you are familiar with what we are going to talk about, and maybe know when you want to put some notes in and all that. Fine. It's a private session. I would appreciate if you can be in an area where you are going to be not disturbed, maybe for 45 minutes or more, depending how many times you stop the videos, either to think or to meditate on something I have said. It's important that you are comfortable. Right now I'm sitting on in my little corner, my little Carol's corner, and I'm very comfy and all that. That's important. You also need to be in a quiet, very quiet place, like make sure that the pets are not bothering you, kids, husband, whatever. Now, make sure that you have your own little time. This is why I did it a pre-recorded session, because you can watch this video anytime that you want to, and you can stop it anytime you want to also. Write down all kinds of things that that makes you go, oh well, I didn't know about that, or aha moments, things that makes you go, give you goosebumps, anything like that. Write it down. It's very important. Anything that you feel that's going to make you feel good too, okay? It's all about feeling good. That's what we're going to be doing. And also, try to find ways of quickly implementing what the teachings of this video. What I mean by that is, like, let's say if we're talking about emotions and I give you tips about, working emotions, well, maybe you never thought about that one. So possibly you would like to implement that one as fast as possible. So, like I was saying, the first session will be on oxygenation, frequencies, and emotions. These are very fragile petals of my flower of hope, which I have done right after I had finished my natural health practitioner, to help people understand what are the basics to be able to come back to health. The three things that we're talking about, first of all, oxygenation. If we look at oxygenation, it is the principal element that your body needs to stay alive. If you're deprived of oxygen within 3 minutes, there will be like major damage to the brain, major damage to your body. If you look in my book, I explain a little bit more about oxygen, all kinds of little tidbits that would be interesting and important as per your body. But what is the thing that I want to point out the most in this Feel Good seminar, webinar? It's to be able to be aware of your breathing. Okay, most people are never aware of their breathing. They take it for granted. Honestly, everybody does that in a certain way, because it's not something that we have to think about. It's done automatically, unless you have some kind of an ailment or deficiency or something like that. That could happen, but most of the time we don't recognize that we are breathing. We know that we are, because we are alive. However, we are not aware of the breathing. If you notice, if you have a chance, we'll have a few little exercise about the breathing in a few minutes there. If ever you have a chance of being aware of your breathing, you will find a definite difference in your physiology. You will feel better, and you will also find ways of getting, how would I say that? You will feel better, and you will be more and more aware of your breathing. You will see that. Just to give you a few little tidbits about breathing. Most of the time we breathe, when we talk, we breathe with our mouth, okay? But let's say if we go for a walk, we should always breathe through our nose. If you start breathing through your mouth when you're doing any kind of exercise, that will only build up the production of cortisol, which is not good for your body. So what you need to do is to take deep breaths through your nose and release it through the mouth. I would like for you to try that like right now so that you can see how you feel better when you are aware of your breathing. So breathe through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Let's do it again. And one more time. Now you will notice in your body some kind of energetic response to that. And what you should do more often is be aware of your breathing. Let's say if you're working real hard all day and all that, give yourself a few minutes, sit down, take some deep breaths, and be aware of your breathing. The other thing that is very important, and like throughout this webinar, we will be talking a little bit more about that further on, is your frequencies in your body, meaning energy. A good, healthy body should have anything between 62 and 78 hertz. That's the measure. That's how they measure the energy in your body. Anything lower than that, you might have a cold. You might be sick. You might be sad. There's like it's always also connected to emotions and all that. Now, how do we know what are our energy levels? Like this is very difficult because you can measure that. There are special tools to do that. However, it's very difficult to be aware of your energy in your body. Most of the time, some people are more energetic or more sensitive to their energy. They will feel that. But other people, like they're just saying, "Huh? What are you talking about? I don't know about anything about that." Well, I've got a little exercise that I would like for you to try right now. It will help you show what is energy. Like, electricity, energy, anything like, electricity, that is something that we have in our house. It's the same thing. It's just calculated in different ways. But the energy that we have in our body, it's never over 78 hertz. I know that electricity, you need that to cook your supper, but electricity can also cook a man. Like, if it's not control or something like that. In our body, this is a different thing. But let's say if our energies are low, then we can get sick. So I want you to take your two hands and slap them together. Then after that, just rub your hands together for try it for about 30 seconds, okay? You're going to start, feeling the warmth between your hands. Now, warmth is energy also. Like anything that is pertaining to energy is, there's warmth, there's hot, there's, So just continue doing that for about another 15 seconds here. I'll try to keep you entertained while you're doing this. Now, after you're done that, just take your hands really, really slow apart. And you will feel something in between your hands. This is the energy that has been built up with the friction. So if you go like this with your hands, you will find out that, you can see that there's kind of a resistance in between your two hands. This is one way of knowing what is energy in our body. Okay? So the energy that we have in our body is the same that is in everything that is on this planet Earth, that is in the universe, that is it's throughout everything. Okay? So we have talked about the oxygenation, we have talked about the frequency. Now for the emotions, I'm going to be talking more about that in session 3, if I do believe so. Because I'll just mention a few little things here, because what happened is that most of the time our emotions, if they are on the negative side, of course that will bring down our energy, it will bring down our breathing, it brings down a lot of things. So that's why I wanted to make sure that we are aware of our breathing, aware of our energy, and also aware of any kind of negative energy, emotions that could bring down our energy in our body. So I just wanted to read a part of what I have written in my book. It's not necessarily my writing, it's Dr. Joe Dispenza. It's a part of his book, and I couldn't really explain it in a certain way that it would, be exact. So I preferred to really go word for word with what he had to say about emotions and how can we get addicted to emotions. Okay, so what I will read that little part, and then if you want, you can either stop the video, write down a few notes. If you have any questions at any time, please do send me questions. I would be very happy to answer your questions also. So Dr. Joe Dispenza says, the brain is made of tiny nerve cells called neurons. These neurons have tiny branches and connect to other neurons to form what is called a neural net. Each place where they connect is incubated as a thought or a memory. The brain builds up all its concepts by the law of associated memories. For example, you have an idea or a thought or a feeling. They're all constructed and interconnected in the neural net and all have a possible relationship with one another. The concept of feeling of love, for instance, is stored in a vast neural net. But we build this concept of love from many other different ideas. Some have love connected to disappointment. When they think about love, they experience the memory of pain, sorrow, anger, and even rage and revenge. Rage may be linked to hurt, which may be linked to a specific person, and then it can be reconnected to love. So everything can be connected, like every feeling or everything that you have in your brain can be connected to other things too. Who's in the driver's seat when we control our emotions? We know physiologically that nerve cells that fire together are wired together. If you practice something over and over again, these nerve cells have a long-term relationship. If you get angry on a daily basis, be frustrated on a daily basis, if you suffer on a daily basis, if you give a reason for the victimization in your life, you are rewiring and reintegrating your neural net on a daily basis. And now, the neural net has a long-term relationship with all those other nerve cells called an identity. We also know that nerve cells that don't fire together no longer wire together. They lose their long-term relationship because every time we interrupt a thought process that produces a chemical response in the body, those nerve cells that are connected to each other start breaking their long-term relationship. When we start interrupting and observing, not by stimuli and response and that automatic reaction, but by observing the effect that takes place, then we are no longer the body, mind, conscious, emotional person that responds to its environment as if it was automatic. You get that there? Observe. There's a part of the brain that is called hypothalamus. Now, I'm French. I tried to say that word in English and it's impossible for me. I don't know. Hypothalamus. It's a little mini factory of its, and it is a place that assembles certain chemicals that matches certain emotions that we experience. Those particular chemicals are called peptides. They are small chain of amino acid sequences. The body is basically a carbon unit that makes about 20 different amino acids all together to formulate its physical structure. The body is a protein-producing machine. In the hypothalamus, we take small chains of protein called peptide and we assemble them into certain neuropeptides or neurohormones that matches the emotional state that we experience on a daily basis. So there's a chemical for anger, there's a chemical for sadness, there's a chemical for lust. There's a chemical for every emotional state that we experience. And the moment that we experience that emotional state in our body or in our brain, the hypothalamus will immediately assemble the peptide and then release it through the pituitary gland into the bloodstream. The moment they make it into the bloodstream, it finds its way to different centers or different parts of the body. Now, every single cell has these receptors on the outside. One cell can have thousands of receptors on its surface, kind of opening up to the outside world. And when a peptide docks on its side, it literally, like a key in a lock, sits on the receptor's surface and attaches to it and kind of moves the receptor like a doorbell buzzing and send a signal into the cell. A cell that has a peptide sitting in it changes the cell in many ways. It sets a whole cascade of biochemical events, some of which winds up with changes in the actual nucleus of the cell. Each cell is definitely alive and each cell has a consciousness, particularly if we define consciousness as a point of view of an observer. There is always the perspective of the cell. In fact, the cell is the smallest unit of consciousness in the body. A definition of an addiction is really simple. Something that you can't stop. We give to ourselves situations that meet our chemical needs. An addict will always need a little bit more in order to get a rush or a high of what they are looking for chemically. So, the definition really means that if you can't control your emotional state, you must be addicted to it. Oh, that's a slap in the face, I'm telling you. When I read this the first time, I said, wow. He's right in a certain way, okay? This has completely changed my whole perspective about emotions. Honestly, after that, I started being more and more observing being aware of my emotions. So anytime that, listen, I would get mad, my worst emotion that I was dealing with is being mad at myself. I was constantly mad at myself. One thing that I have, through all my life, I had a mother that was very, very controlling and very demanding, and anything I would do was never good enough. So she was always mad at the way I was doing things. If I would bring a B, if I did 95 on a test, she was expecting 100. If I like to sew, knit, all kinds of things like that. If I would do something with my hands, there was always this little thing that, that was not perfect. And that really saddened me. And in a certain way, after that, I got very, very hard on myself. So when I was doing something wrong, since my mother was not around anymore, I was the one telling me that, getting angry at me and all that. So you need to be observers of what you are doing as your emotions. This is the key thing with this session. We need to be observers. We need to be aware of our breathing. We need to be aware of what the emotions we're dealing with right now. So right now, if I would ask you, what is the dominant negative emotions right now that you have in your life? towards yourself, toward, like, are you sad constantly? Are you mad? Are you angry? Like, what is the emotion, the dominant negative emotion that you have right now? Okay, so if you want, like, there's a place on the notebook, the workbook, that you can write down this for you. Okay, there's also a something that I'm asking you is, can you become the observer? Can you become aware of those negative emotions as of today? So from today, what you can do is try to be an observer, be aware of your emotion, and by becoming aware, now try to stop those negative emotions when they are happening. By doing so, what you are going to do is you're going to start rewiring your brain. Now, Dr. Joe Dispenza was mentioning that there are chemicals for lust, there's chemical for sadness, there's chemical for anger, but there's also chemicals for joy, love, happiness, all those positive emotions. So instead of being always angry, try to find something that you are happy about. Okay, so that would be something that you might want to do, is try to find that happy thought that that time that you were happy. Go back there, try to find it, try to recreate it. Okay, so these would be the two most important things in this session. Would be, one, to be aware of what is going on, and two, find a way to change it if it's not okay. Okay, between sessions, what I'd like for you to do, if it's possible, like, there's going to be a little homework. So for tonight or today, whenever you look at this video, if you have Netflix, there's a movie called The Secret. If you have a chance, go and watch that movie. That's the first thing that ever helped me with being enlightened or change or whatever. It really, really, really helped me. If you have a chance, go and watch that movie. That movie is amazing. If you don't have it, I think you can get it for not that expensive on the internet also. I think it's only something like $5 or $6. That's something you could do also. Revise your notes and practice your breathing and practice being aware. Okay, we are going to do a little, there's something else too that needs to be done throughout those 6 weeks that we are going to do. One will be meditate. I don't know if you ever had a chance of meditating. If you never had a chance of meditating, it's something that you might want to start. I speak of it more in my book. What I do, I always do that in the morning, and I always do that at night, and I also do it many times during the day when I have a chance. I love quieting my mind and helping myself to, like, maybe I call it my reset button. Okay, if there's something that's not going right, I just quiet my mind. I sit down and I start my breathing. I close my eyes and I just breathe, and I just listen to my breathing, just to see in and out, like, without thinking about other things. Now, this is very hard. At the beginning, like, I couldn't go without 2-3 seconds without thinking about something else. Okay, but if you have a chance, like, we could do it just for about 30 seconds right now. What I would like for you to do is just close your eyes. Okay, just like, if you're sit comfortably. I like sitting like an Indian. I always enjoy sitting like that. I knit like that. I do it all the time. So just close your eyes, put yourself in a very comfortable, position. And then after that, what I need you for you to do is just be aware and just, like, like really concentrate on your breathing. We're just going to do it 3 times, and then we'll just close our eyes and not talk at all for about 10-15 seconds, okay? So let's do our first breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And just relax for a few seconds. And slowly become more aware and open your eyes. So we're only going to do it like for a few seconds here for today. I just wanted you to do that. Whenever you have a chance, it's important to quiet your mind. Somebody says that I do about like 15-20 minutes in the morning, 15-20 minutes in the evening. Somebody said to me, well, my God, that's too much. I cannot afford that much time, in meditating. And I told them, like, I had read that somewhere, if you can't afford doing 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night, then that means you need an hour in the morning, an hour at night, because you are too busy, and everything is not going according to plan, for sure. So if you have a chance, practice your breathing, write down what negative position you are presently that you would like to work on, and try to find ways of getting out of that negative situation while you are doing so, trying to find do the meditation and the breathing exercise that I just did, and ask yourself those questions directly to you. Don't ask that to somebody else. Ask yourself. You're the master of yourself. You should be able to get, answers to your question. This is what we're going to be working throughout the sessions to help you connect to your inner being and to source and all that. So I hope that you enjoy that today. And if you have any questions, or if you would like to personally talk to me or something like that, don't hesitate. You can send me an email. I'll try to get in touch either through FaceTime or Skype, or you can come and have a cup of coffee here if you want to. If you don't live that far, give me a call. I really enjoy having a good chat with people. So for next week, we're going to be looking into the experiences. So by next week, the other session will be posted on this page, and you'll be able to follow through to the next page. And there will also be another workbook. And every week we're going to have more and more exercise and more getting into like the nitty-gritty of everything. And by the end of session 6, you're going to be able to almost do almost everything that you want to, and I guarantee you're going to have fun with this. So I want to wish you a very good week, and breathe. That's the most important thing. Have a nice week, and I will see you next week. Okay, bye-bye.